Every thought you've had issued an order to reality. The scary part, it's still shipping. Deliveries from yesterday, from last year, from the dark corners of your childhood, still arriving disguised as chance, dressed up as fate. Close your eyes for a second and imagine your life as a warehouse. Rows upon rows of boxes stacked high. Some are glowing, beautiful, radiant, humming with abundance. Others are rotting, leaking, heavy with shadows you don't even remember placing. And every day, new shipments arrive. Not from the outside world, but from the inside. From you. Because the field doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't care what you meant to say. It only listens to the signal you actually broadcast and thought. Thought is the order form. What if I told you that most of the pain you call destiny is nothing more than old orders still being fulfilled? What if I told you that every heartbreak, every setback, every strange twist of bad luck was simply a package stamped with your own unguarded thoughts? Here's the truth. They never told you. Reality has no cancellation policy. Unless you step in consciously, deliberately, your past thoughts keep arriving at your door. The wrong deliveries. The ones you never wanted. The ones you forgot you signed for in silence. But stay with me, because today, right here, in this moment, we're not just opening boxes. We're sending new instructions. We're canceling what no longer belongs. We're rewriting the ledger of cause and effect. Live. And as you'll see, the moment you shift the cause, the effect has no choice but to obey. Think of the world around you, the chair beneath you, the screen in front of you, the walls around you. All of it looks solid, permanent, heavy. But what the ancients discovered, and what the great initiates whispered in shadowed halls, is that solidity is an illusion. Everything you see is the final echo of something invisible. Every object is an effect. Every effect began as a cause. Thought is the spark, vibration is the carrier, and reality is the harvest. The chain never breaks. The only question is, who is setting the cause? Most people think life happens to them. They think chance, luck, or fate decides. But here's the haunting truth. If you don't choose the cause, your environment chooses it for you. The voices you listen to, the images you scroll past, the stories you repeat inside your head. Each one is a silent command, signed and sealed, ready to be delivered as your future. This is why masters never wasted time blaming the outer world. They understood. The outer is just a mirror, a delayed reflection. If you wish to change what you see, you must first command what you don't see. Cause first. Effect second. Always. No exceptions. The problem is, most people are still sending orders without knowing it. They think a negative thought, feel a bitter emotion sink into doubt, and in that moment, they've already mailed a letter to reality. Days later, weeks later, months later, the response shows up, stamped with the very vibration they released. And then they call it bad luck. But the initiate calls it law. So ask yourself right now, what orders are you still shipping? What patterns are you still feeding? Which vibrations are you still leaking? Without realizing that every leak is becoming your next chapter. Because here's the secret the few will ever dare to live by. When you reshape the cause, the effect has no choice but to follow. Imagine this for a moment. What would happen if you fed your body nothing but sugar, grease, and poison every single day? The outcome is obvious. Weakness. Now realize, your mind follows the exact same law. Every thought you allow in, Every word you hear, every image you absorb, is the food of your inner world. A polluted mental diet rots even the strongest will, while a clean and disciplined one nourishes greatness. Think carefully. The songs you repeat, all of it slips silently into the hidden chambers of your mind, and whether you notice or not, you are always transmitting. There is no pause button, no mute switch, no escape. Your thoughts and emotions pour outward 24 hours a day. Each one is a signal, and signals always summon a response. This is why environment beats willpower. You may strive to stay positive, to rise above, to hold on to clarity. But if you are immersed in noise and negativity, the law of cause and effect demands that you will absorb it. The input becomes the output. The cause becomes the effect. Spend your hours among the bitter, and bitterness becomes your cloak. Spend them with the awake and ambitious, and you rise. Even the Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned, if you want to know a man, look at his friends, because energy is contagious, vibration is stronger than intention, and the collective field will always overpower the solitary will. This is why the ancient initiates never walked the path alone. Initiation required a circle, a group, vibration, pulling every member upward. To climb toward higher truth meant surrounding yourself with minds that refuse to settle for mediocrity. And here is the lesson for you. Your mental diet is not optional. It is the soil of creation. If you plant poison, poison grows. If you plant clarity, clarity multiplies. You become what you feed on, always. Listen closely. Mastery is not perfection. You will stumble. You will falter. You will entertain thoughts that do not serve you. Darkness will whisper at your edges. But here is the secret the masters lived by. It is not about never falling. It is about how quick every return strengthens you. Each time you choose clarity over chaos, focus over distraction, gratitude over resentment, you sharpen the mind into a tool worthy of shaping worlds. The true initiate does not fear the slip. He fears staying down too long, because toxic causes only create toxic effects when you let them linger. Think of it like fire. A spark on dry wood can ignite a blaze, but only if you allow it to sit. If you stamp it out quickly, it leaves no scar. So too with thought. The faster you return, the less power negativity has to root itself into your reality. This is why discipline was never about punishment. It was about speed, the speed of returning to alignment, the art of not letting a toxic thought settle long enough to call its twin back into your life. And as you return again and again, something begins to change. The mind grows lighter, the spirit sharper. A strange clarity begins to hum through your entire being. Suddenly, the principle of cause and effect is no longer a theory. It becomes a living. You see it in your conversations, in your relationships, in the way doors open and obstacles dissolve. You witness it in real time. The ancients knew, thought is not idle, thought is food. Every mental choice is either nourishment or poison. Every return to light is a step upward. Every surrender to darkness is a step downward. And you must, until returning becomes natural, until alignment becomes instinct, until clarity becomes the default frequency of your life. This is the true path. Not to never stumble, but to stumble and rise faster every time. Everything moves, even the rock you believe to be solid. Beneath your senses, it vibrates. Every particle hums. Every atom sings. Nothing in this universe is still. The ancients understood this. They whispered it in temples and carved it into symbols. Vibration is the hidden current beneath reality, the invisible river that carries thought into form. Matter is slow vibration. Thought is faster. Spirit is faster still. And yet, all are woven together by the same law. Your thoughts vibrate. Your emotions vibrate. And when they align, when thought and feeling pulse together in rhythm, they form a resonance so strong that reality itself, you already know this in your bones. Think back to a moment of pure joy. When you walked into a room and people felt your light before you said a word, or recall a moment of anger. When the air grew thick, the silence tense, as if everyone around you was pulled into your storm. That was vibration. The unseen force proving itself in plain sight. This is why the masters of hidden orders did not simply think about what they desired. They vibrated with it. They tuned themselves like instruments, resonating with the frequency of wealth, of influence, of destiny itself. And the world responded, not by chance, but by law. Vibration is the bridge between invisible cause and visible effect. It is the missing link most ignore, and the very reason most affirmations fail. Because the field does not respond to the words leaving your mouth. It responds to the vibration you carry in your chest. When you dwell in higher vibrations, gratitude, clarity, vision, you place yourself at the gateway of creation, not as a beggar asking for scraps, but as a musician tuning to the eternal orchestra. This is the mastery hidden in the highest degrees, not to fight against vibration, but to align with it until creation itself becomes intentional, precise, inevitable. A thought may seem small, fleeting, invisible, but thought is the seed of universes. Every cathedral began as an idea. Every empire was once a whisper in the silent mind of a single human being. Every revolution, every invention, every miracle of history first existed as nothing more than thought. This is why the initiates guarded their minds with more discipline than kings guarded their crowns. To think is not passive. To think is to set a cause into motion, one that vibration will amplify and reality will obey. You can feel it instantly. Think of love and your chest warms. Think of gratitude and the heart expands. You did nothing but think, and yet your entire chemistry shifted. That shift is vibration, and here is where the real power lies. One thought may alter your mood, but sustained thought reshapes your world. One drop of water cannot carve a canyon, but thousands of drops, falling again and again, can split stone. In the same way, one vision, repeated long enough, begins to engrave itself into reality. Not in the random wishes you scatter, but in the thought you rehearse until it becomes who you are. The danger. To allow stray thoughts to dominate is to surrender creation to chaos. To let doubt, fear, or anger repeat inside your head is to sign orders for futures you do not want. But the opportunity to master thought is to wield, because every time you choose the higher thought, every time you sustain gratitude, clarity, vision, you are programming vibration itself. And vibration by law cannot resist alignment. It must return to you in form. This is the secret the few ever learn, thought sustained. And aligned is not just influence, it is creation itself. Ask yourself, why was such wisdom hidden? Why cloak it in symbols, rituals, and guarded halls? Why whisper it only to the chosen few? Because thought, vibration, and cause and effect are not toys. They are fire. Fire can illuminate cities or burn them to ash. To hand this knowledge to an unprepared mind would be like giving lightning to a child. Without discipline, the same power that could liberate could also enslave. The same law that could heal could also corrupt. This is why the path of initiation was never about titles or medals. It was about readiness, inner readiness. Only a mind disciplined in silence could be trusted with this machinery. Only a soul trained to return to light could wield it without drowning in darkness. Only an initiate who understood that power is not possession but alignment could hold these truths and not be consumed by them. The number 33 itself carried weight. It was never just a badge. It was a symbol. A reminder that human beings are not bound by flesh alone, but are channels of divine intelligence. That the true temple was never a building of stone, but the mind itself, the rituals, the degrees, the guarded teachings. They were never designed to give power. They were designed to point to remind the seeker that the spark of creation was already alive within. The kings, the inventors, the leaders who carried these teachings were not great because of the titles they bore. They were great because of the knowledge they embodied. They walked with awareness of law, while others stumbled blindly against it. This is why secrecy was necessary, until a soul could master silence, discipline, and vibration. It could not be trusted with the truth that every thought creates, that every vibration calls its likeness, that every effect is born from unseen cause. The secret was never about hiding it from you. It was about preparing you to see it without being destroyed by it. The greatest secret was never hidden in a book or sealed in a vault or locked inside a temple built of stone. The greatest secret was always within you. The true temple is the mind. The sacred chamber is thought itself. And the altar is the vibration you choose to dwell in. The ancients knew this. That is why every ritual, every symbol, every initiation pointed inward. They were never about external power. They were mirrors, forcing the seeker to look within, to face the machinery of creation already burning in silence. To unlock godlike power is not to acquire something new. It is to remember what has always been hidden in plain sight. You are both cause and effect, both transmitter and receiver, both thought and manifestation. When you honor the mind as a sacred chamber, when you cleanse the diet of thought, when you align vibration with spirit, you rise to a degree no lodge can confer. You become the living initiate, the awakened mason of the soul. And from that moment forward, reality itself bends to your command. Not because you forced it, not because you begged for it, but because you aligned with the law that governs all things. The masters left us clues. But the final initiation cannot be given by any hand of man. It must awaken in you. And once it does, you will never see the world the same again. This is the living mystery. The 33rd degree was never a destination, never a medal, never a title carved into history. It was, and still is, a consciousness, a realization that every thought is a cause, every vibration is a transmitter. Every effect is only the echo of what you have already set in motion. To live in this awareness is to finally see the code, the hidden architecture weaving every detail of your existence. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You begin to notice the thoughts you allow. You begin to feel the vibrations you radiate. You begin to choose, deliberately, consciously, the causes you set into motion, and suddenly synchronicities multiply. The world bends, not by magic, but by law. The same law that has been obeying you all along. The truth is simple, but it is not easy. You are both cause and effect. You are both the sender and the receiver. You are both the temple and the priest standing within it. To unlock godlike power is not to reach higher than you are. It is to remember what you already are, a being of thought, a vessel of vibration, a transmitter of creation. So from this moment forward, choose with awareness. Feed your mind like a sacred flame. Return to light the moment darkness calls. Align your vibration with the highest and watch as reality bends to your command. Not because you forced it, not because you begged for it, but because you finally remembered. You were never powerless. You were always the initiate. You were always the cause. And now you are awake.